I'm excited. How about you? So this is the opening panel. So I guess we have a lot of responsibility to set the stage with our knowledge. Especially there's a lot of esteemed people and thinkers in this space. So we'll be talking about revolutionizing the crypto landscape, driving innovation and advancement. In this era of digital transformation and disruption, I think things are so fast disrupting digital finance. And then we're not here because we're talking of many things. We're here because simply this innovation has changed a lot of things. So I will welcome the panel and let's discuss what's happening in the crypto space. So in this space, we're going to start with Alex. Alex, you have a lot of responsibility. How do you envision the integration of blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies shaping the future of traditional finance and economic system?
So we're seeing how blockchain can really help make transactions secure and transparent, and it's giving power to the people. We're seeing with the Web3, we're seeing how people can interact on their own terms with enterprises. I mean, I think the biggest use case that everyone's now seeing here, everyone's very comfortable with the expansion of Web 1, Web 2, and now Web 3. So that use case is evident for everyone. You know, we're seeing network effects really being amplified with blockchain. And so with the nature of cryptocurrencies and being able to transact peer-to-peer, we're disenfranchising institutions and we're giving back people the ability to control their assets and transact on their own terms. So this is a paradigm-shifting product for financial services. So, you know, centralized exchange as Binance, we understand that. So we're heavily investing in DeFi, in wallets. You know, people will always want to transact on a centralized marketplace. It's the same in the real world. You have shops and you have markets. There are different types of places to transact. So we're now seeing these use cases in blockchain come into fruition. It's a different cycle. It's a different cycle of ingenuity, and the experiment is moving on.
Great. Hadir, I'm going to come to you the same question, but we just saw Monday talking about this and then beautiful integrations. So can you shed some light also how, because we're seeing innovation left and right. Who doesn't have a wallet here? Just as a, I think all of us. This is beautiful. Who doesn't have a Binance wallet? I'm sure you're not. So Hadir, what is your take on this?
So me, right?
Yeah, and the same of how do you envision the integration?
Yes. So I believe that the blockchain is the main core. You know, blockchain is the technology. It will change the whole world, not only cryptocurrencies. Because of the blockchain, the centralized world, the decentralized world, we have cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies will reshape the traditional finance and also will give us the trust and security and saving time, saving our money as well with the transaction fees. Also because of the blockchain, we know that we can transfer from Web 2 to Web 3. Because of the blockchain, we know that there's something rare about the ownership. Because of the blockchain, there's DeFi, DAO. So the blockchain is the core. And because of the blockchain, we will change or reshape the whole economy. This is my belief. And also, I see a lot of people, influencers, they always talk about crypto and Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin, the first protocol, but still the blockchain is the key and is the core. So yeah, That's it.
Thank you. Faraj, how do you address those challenges of scalability and transactions? Especially now we need speed. Speed is something that is a make or break if you want to challenge other competitors. What are the potential solutions and technology do you see?
Great question. I think that the blockchain in general is one of the greatest technologies amid the internet of 1990s. And if you remember those days, the speed of internet was very slow. Dial-up connection was very fragile.
I still remember the sound.
Yeah, absolutely. So the same can be now said about the blockchain. Blockchain has tremendous potential in all areas of our lives. For example, in the finance, in the gamify. But the current speed in the current technological advancements are not enough for the needs of the people. People get used to everything being fast, everything being secured at the same time, and everything being so convenient. So everyone agrees that blockchains need to be scalable, and there are a few ways how the scalability is achieved currently. One of them is roll-up solutions. It's layer 2s, where the transactions are aggregated into the roll-ups and then added into the base layer, like for example layer 2 solutions like optimistic roll-ups like Optimism, Arbitrum and others. For increased privacy, ZK roll-ups are there like ZK Sync, Polygon ZK VM. Some companies like for example Venom blockchain is going into the dynamic sharding. So when you actually introduce the sharding of the data, increases computational speed. Dynamic, in our case, means that it can increase with the load and then contract with the load. Near is another example of that. They utilize sharding as well. Harmony is another blockchain utilizing that. There are a few other solutions to increase the scalability, but currently those two, sharding and roll-ups, are the most prevalent.
Talking about sharding, talking about Venom, Anton, can you shed a little bit light on this, and can you tell us about what's happening in the regulatory landscape that is affecting this operation and expansion of major, especially in the crypto exchanges?
Yeah, so with regards to regulation, I think it's first important to mention is that the reason why we're a big industry today is actually because it was unregulated. So anybody who has a bit of experience coming from traditional finance knows the moment you become highly regulated, like a bank, you're not allowed to do anything, pretty much, without the regulator's approval. So we have kind of have to take it as a bit of a lucky position that crypto around the globe is actually unregulated. So it's not a financial security, or when we're talking about Bitcoin or Ether or all of these tokens. So that's actually a very positive thing. Now, the reason why we want regulation is kind of, if we reflect what happened a year ago, pretty much, is you had the second biggest exchange in the world blowing up because it's a scam, basically, Now, again, this happened because it was unregulated in the traditional sense. So you didn't have a strong compliance framework, you didn't have risk requirements, you didn't have capital requirements, actually, to offset the risk that the crypto exchange or anybody else was doing. So I would have to say actually that regulation in the crypto space very much depends on the jurisdiction. So it kind of, I come from Switzerland, so we are very, very lucky that the regulator has been very open-minded towards new technologies. And when you actually look at how the Swiss regulator operates, it states that it's technology neutral. So if you offer a service, doesn't matter how you offer it from a technology perspective, but you have to comply with the service requirements. But kind of if I'm reflecting now on Dubai, I think it's a very unique position here that we have a regulator, VARA, specifically tailored for digital assets, which is great. But then when I take a closer look, I only see that Binance has kind of gotten very far, in getting those licenses, those approvals, and so far nobody has gotten a full license actually here in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it kind of reflects the animosity that we have, I mean, animosity on a global scale, but that kind of challenges locally. And to be honest, I kind of been around for a while now, 10 years in the crypto space. You know, we have the blow-ups, then the regulators are very unhappy. Then, you know, then we have new narratives, and I think the previous panel, speaker talked amazing about narratives, and then the narratives kind of operated in an unregulated environment. Then you have a blow-up and another. So kind of, we are going now to a tough phase, how I would summarize it.
Thank you. I'm happy to see two ladies on this panel, because when we talk, we see a lot of ladies, but not active in the space of building. So Cristina, in your opinion, you know, especially what's happening today, we are in a very bearish market, but we see a lot of run on the investment side, interest from big companies such as BlackRock, you know, and others. What are and why are they running to this, and what's the shift in this space for the financial industry?
It's true that women's participation in the cryptocurrency space is on the rise, and either it's through investing, trading, building crypto projects, or working within this industry. But still, there is a large gender disparity within the crypto field, and you can see this by simply observing the composition of many industry events or panel discussions, for example. But apart this minor observation, what is important to recognize is that being a woman in the crypto field doesn't require technical expertise. There is a massive opportunity here, not only to reshape the global financial structure, but also to revolutionize how society interacts with this industry. And women here can bring a lot of fresh ideas and perspectives on how blockchain technology can be applied. This can result in the creation of new products and services that are more inclusive and accessible to a larger group of people. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention any names. I don't want, it sounds like promoting companies. But what I want to say is that there are so many successful women entrepreneurs, founders of crypto exchanges, venture capital firms, NFTs artists that bring innovation and inclusion. And many women now are launching their startups, which contribute significantly to the growth of crypto ecosystem. This not only creates new businesses, but also new employment opportunities. So I think that women has to have a strong presence in many aspects of this industry, not only in fundraising or investment, but also in politics, regulations. And I think working together with men, we can ensure that cryptocurrency will be faster adopted. And of course, blockchain technology has to be used successful and ethical.
Thank you. I'll jump to Alex. Again, in your opinion, what are those key drivers behind the recent surge and interest also that you see from Binance side in the investments, and how do they reflect the broader shifts in those financial technologies and industries? Since I know you're involved with a lot of projects, I know there's a lot of internal things happening we don't know, we don't want to know, but you can tell us on the broader aspect of things.
So the three main drivers are transparency. So we talked about financial services being very opaque. I mean, that's why Bitcoin started. They were not happy with monetary policy, and we'd seen the collapse of banks due to the fact that they were very opaque. The second key driver is actually people understanding now the use cases, right? So again, Mateus talked about these use cases, and they're becoming more apparent. 5-10 years ago, people had tokens, no one knew what to do with them. But now we're seeing these use cases. So there's a renewed interest. Companies are understanding how they can monetize or engage with their clients through NFTs or loyalty programs. So the use case is coming. And the third key driver in the renewed interest is probably the
lack of financial certainty in the markets, rise in interest rates, you know, the yield curve steepening. Everyone's worried about recession. You know, it's fresh in most people's mind 10 years ago what happened. So, you know, crypto is a hedge against that. So these are the three key drivers, I think, the renewed interest. And we're seeing with these fresh influx of people and businesses, with regulation as well, there's a little bit more certainty. That's why, I mean, Binance chose to buy. We were given regulatory certainty, and we get to put a footprint down here and grow business. You know, uncertainty is unhelpful for economic growth. And so here we have a path forward set by the leadership, and the influx of business here is helping. These network effects that, you know, crypto capitalize on is also being capitalized by the business. So, you know, we're getting chains coming here, we're getting brokers, we're getting VCs, and we're all participating, we're all sharing knowledge, and that's what's growing.
Just let me add on this. Do you think having the regulation in UAE and Dubai helped Binance and other exchanges to set forth and then be more successful or more stable because there is now clear regulation?
Yeah, definitely clarity helps. And going back to sort of the first panel, people do need centralized exchanges because they need to reduce the sophistication with crypto. It's still difficult. It's still difficult dealing with keys. It's still difficult dealing with transactions. But for entry-level participants, centralized exchanges are helpful. And so centralized exchanges that are regulated give a lot of comfort to the regulators and participants and users.
Thank you. Hadir, I'll jump into you.
Actually, I want to add something, if you don't mind. There's a really very important key to choose, in any startup as well, solution, because we have right now 1.8+ million on CoinMarketCap projects, but if you find really the good solution, just few. So solution is very important. What is your solution and why you build this project? This is very important, by the way. Thank you.
Great, and I'll ask you another one. You know, now there's a lot of cross-chain activities that are playing big role. What do you see the future, or especially in DeFi and that space, or the broader crypto ecosystem?
So DeFi is one of the solutions and reshaping the economy, as we mentioned before. And I believe we need to add more focus on DeFi and DAO as well, communities, more than cryptocurrencies, because as I mentioned, and as influencer as well on social media, all people talking too much about Bitcoin price, about the market price, even we losing trust somehow about the market and about cryptocurrencies because only the price. And this is one of the challenges because there's two things I believe it missing yet: trust, and because of the trust, because of the price, because of a lot of projects, huge projects, they crashed. So people losing trust about cryptocurrencies and about the whole field. And they only know one section, you know, just cryptocurrencies. As I mentioned, blockchain is the core. So you need to understand that there's many and different services about the blockchain. You can make money from them as an investor, as a trader, as a business owner as well. It's not only about cryptocurrencies. So yeah, DeFi one of the solutions, and I believe not only DeFi, RWA as well. I know that we didn't mention that, but RWA, the reward assets, I believe this era, it will change the whole environment, government mindset about cryptocurrencies as well, and about blockchain. So yeah, that's it.
Faraj, you want to add on this?
Yeah, like coming back to the question, what's the role of the cross-chain, importance of cross-chain in DeFi space? Coming back to the analogy of internet, like every one of us, when using internet, we do not think about whether I should go to this website, whether it's closed or not, and we can do whatever we want on the internet, watch movies, do everything else, and we do not really think about the technology behind that. Which server is powering that? What access does it have? And for the ultimate user, the simplicity is very important. There are like hundreds of blockchains at the moment, each having its own benefits. For example, Solana is very fast, and Ethereum is very secured. Like some other, Venom is based and tracking the real-world assets and stable coins. Some others are focused on the other type of solutions like supply chain. And users need to move their assets and also their data in between them. So, and for that, the cross-chain functionality and interoperability is very important. There are blockchains that are designed only on that. For example, Polkadot, Cosmos is an example of the past. Venom is also having the work chains, and many others are also working on that. I know Polygon is working on that to have the blockchain as a service, to launch your own blockchain on that particular platform. But the cross-chain is really important, and the bridges that create that functionality of interoperability, they need to think about decentralization, they need to think about security aspects of that, and make it, first of all, easy for people to use. So that's why DeFi will only grow if the interoperability grows in the system.
Very interesting, the analogy and then how you link it. I love the internet example because it gives us something to relate on, all of us. So again, Monday spoke about user experience in the morning, and today we are having problems with that so that we can onboard more people. I'll jump to Anton. You are part of the game. So what collaboration and partnerships do you foresee as a crucial driving the next wave of innovation, especially in the crypto landscape? And then how can the industry foster those collaborations, especially you being part of the game and playing the same game that others should? What do you see from your side?
So in terms of the collaborations, as we say it like that, or I think one of the key narratives for the next bull run that actually Matthias mentioned, but also mentioned by you as well, is actually within the context of real-world assets. So just to mention, real-world assets basically means you want to bring an investment opportunity that lives in the real world, you want to bring it on-chain. And I think like this is, I'm extremely bullish on this narrative for two reasons. First of all, there's actually today a lot of capital in the crypto industry. So, today we're a $1 trillion industry, and so for the last 10 years we had capital moving from TradFi into crypto. Now it ballooned, and now we have this capital that wants to go back into the real world. So this is actually kind of the first driver. The second driver actually has nothing to do with crypto industry. It's actually macroeconomic. The interest rates today are actually high. So a year ago, US treasuries were giving you 0%, just imagine 0. Today, if you buy even short-term treasuries, they give you 5–6% actually. So that means, if you're a crypto company, or maybe if you're a DAO or a crypto project, and you want to deploy and diversify capital, you cannot do it in the crypto industry anymore. If you go to BlockFi is gone, Voyager is gone, Celsius is gone, a lot of these companies that were offering yield are all gone. And if you look actually for attractive yields, they are happening actually in the real world. So this is actually a very important macroeconomic driver, but I want to stress here the urgency. If the economic environment turns, in a year we're going to again have 0 interest rates actually. And the window of the opportunity for real world assets will be gone actually. But in terms of the collaborations, I think we have actually a couple of opportunities to bring the ecosystem together. First one is actually the chains, like Venom, but also a couple of others, like Avalanche, is very much focused on real-world assets. Then the second ecosystem player I think is going to be important, will be the exchanges, because if the exchanges accept real-world assets as collateral for trading, as an asset that you can trade against. That's going to bring unlock a lot of liquidity there in terms of how you use the asset. And the third and the last thing, which is the most important, we need to have the regulators on board there, because tokenized real-world assets, unless you structure them as a loan, but if you actually create them as a token, they are financial securities. There's no way around that. And that means that, it will be difficult to offer it to retail. But, you have investment firms, you have crypto projects, there are entities with professional treasuries, so you can onboard them as a counterparty. So maybe at the beginning it will be a bit reserved for the professional players, but in terms of unlocking that collaboration, we need to bring it to the masses as well. That's the dream behind crypto.
Thank you. I don't know if you want to add on the topic.
Yeah, I think in terms of the partnerships, collaborations, for sure there is a very important part real-world assets are playing. We also are strong believers that unlocking the huge economic value of real-world assets and bringing the ability to add so much liquidity to that, for example, real estate or private equity or bonds or stocks, being able for everyone else, everyone in the world, regardless it's banked or unbanked, to buy a piece of real estate, to buy a piece of some commercial bonds from the government or from small company, that actually creates so much liquidity and inclusion in the society that this alone can be a next big thing, huge thing. Obviously, because of so much potential, regulators are very, very careful about that. I mean, the security tokens, for example, up until now, are traded on a very, very limited, small number of exchanges. Anyone is like really afraid of touching them because the regulatory whiplash will be really strong, and that's one of them. And other partnerships are coming from the real-world brands and real-world like tech players or real-world finance players like Visa or MasterCard. All of them, they are having their Web3 arms. And all of them are looking into how not to be late in the game of implementing blockchains. All of them are still looking back on the government and regulators, not to be slapped for doing something wrong, but all of them already preparing themselves for the next big thing. And obviously the huge institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity, and others, when they will launch their full-scale campaign, the flood of liquidity will come into the crypto space, and I hope that by that time we'll be having some sort of regulations to move it in the right direction to avoid scamming.
And that's something we're waiting for, more liquidity. I'll open a small chapter about the women space because I think it's very important. Cristina, you are, or women are participating in the space as, it's gaining more traction, not like before. So can you share with us some insights on how this shift is influencing innovation and inclusivity within the industry itself?
Sure, Rudy. I just would like to add a little bit more on the previous question about collaborations and partnerships. In addition to what it was said already, I think it's important that crypto companies also collaborate with traditional financial institutions because together they can ensure that cryptocurrencies are safe, are regulated, and easily accessible for everyone. Also, I think it will be so nice to see crypto companies collaborating or working alongside with giant techs like Google or Microsoft. This can contribute to new developments because if there are exchanges of knowledge and resources, this is what industry needs. And very important is that crypto or blockchain companies collaborate with universities. This can lead to new discoveries, fresh ideas, and inventions to current blockchain challenges. And let's also say that it's very important, we have to acknowledge the merit of so many industry events that offer great opportunities for business, exchanges, and networking. So coming back now to your question about women innovations and what we bring into the industry, as I said before, yes, we are much more present, and there are so many women that are launching startups and founders of big companies. So we are very present in the employment aspect of the industry. So just to mention, women contribute a lot in creativity, in marketing, in building communities, also in education. I see so many women that contribute with their knowledges and encourage others to be present. So this is really very important to...
I think this is what you're doing in the Women Do Crypto initiative, right?
Right, right.
So if you are interested, join the club.
Welcome, welcome, most welcome. And not only for women, men are also welcome.
I join. Anyone
Thank
else?
you.
Here we go. Wow. I'll take the same question for you. So what collaboration and or partnership, what are the women that are participating in the crypto space? How are they gaining traction? And you are you are an influencer in this space, and you are influencing other women. So that's a tough thing to do.
First of all, it's not easy at all, especially in Middle East. It was really a hard journey for me, to be honest, from 7 years, because I started in Forex in the beginning. So I got literally a feedback that women cannot be a professional traders because you cannot control your emotions and feelings. And this is very important as a trader, for example, to control your feelings. And the second thing, that as an instructor about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, from like 5 years, it was really few people that talk about this, especially in Egypt and Middle East. So a lot of people saying I'm crazy, this is a scam field. Even my family, they said, you are wasting your time, you know?
What are you doing?
Yeah, I really faced a lot of issues and challenges, and I didn't listen to anyone. I just developed myself, and I believe there is nothing called woman and man. We have the same ability. We are humans. We have mind. So I just use your mind. That's it. However you are, woman or man, you know. So I saw a lot of women that are really successful as developers, as business owners, and they are really smart. And I believe we need to increase this more, especially in Middle East. So yeah, soon, inshallah.
Join, follow. You know, it's interesting. I was speaking with Cristina in the morning about this, that we need more women leaders to inspire other women in this space, and because there are few. So it's really important to have the support of us, all of us, from both sides, because this space is in need, and we have a lot of working professionals that can make a big difference, especially in the Middle East region, where maybe empowerment is much needed, especially in the underprivileged. And this is where we'll jump to a little bit on the cybersecurity or the security side of things, and then try to understand what's happening in the world of cybersecurity and privacy. Alex, those are really concerns today, and then I think many of us share the same question, and I had a question earlier on from the audience. Could you highlight some of those strategies that Binance is using and technologies that are being employed to ensure the safety of those digital assets, transactions, and most importantly, our data?
Okay, absolutely. So as a custodian, hello? Yeah. So as a custodian for users' assets, security is extremely important. So, you know, we use the latest technologies such as MPC. So this is where the keys are sort of segregated away in different servers. and we try to remove, as I said before, the sophistication required to be able to look after your assets securely. As a regulated exchange as well, AML is supreme importance, so transaction monitoring, seeing how the trades are affected on the exchange as well, so that's market surveillance, and that again helps with user protection. But really the key weakness is humans. You know, it's the same with the banks. I mean, I've seen recently a couple of scams being highlighted on LinkedIn through traditional banking here. And so really the driver for safety here is education. It's teaching people how to safely transact. It's educating people to understand what you're doing when you sign a transaction. It's educating people to understand that they are the attack vector. And so with cryptocurrencies, you have the power to peer-to-peer transact, you have the power to hold them for yourself, but it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you are then also the arbiter of your safety. So Binance is really trying to, at the moment, reduce sophistication and take that burden for people now. But as the technology gets more sophisticated and it abstracts people away from needing to understand how things work, the requirement to be so sophisticated goes. You know, with very mature technologies, you don't see the nuts and bolts. Most people don't understand how cookies work. They don't need to know how cookies work. Most people don't understand how, you know, even computers work, but they use them. And that's where we're going. We're just really early, and so it just highlights the need for security here.
Thank you. Anton, I'll jump to you. What are some of the criteria and trends you look for when especially considering investments in the blockchain startups, and how do you see those investments landscape evolving, especially now after the big players are starting to run?
So in terms of investments into early stage actually opportunities, I think everybody who comes here has been in the venture space. It's all about the team. So you basically, when you make an early stage investment, you're betting on the founders that they will figure it out. You can argue that the idea is important, you know, as well, but if you kind of reflect, I think like YouTube was actually originally a dating site or a video dating site, how that pivoted, you know, very unexpectedly. So in the context of early stage investments, you know, it's all about the team, you know, that's pretty much it. Now, when we're talking about kind of outside of the scope of the venture investments, I have to say that one very important aspect is actually liquidity. And this is actually where the blockchain crypto ecosystem really brought a new innovation in the context of utility, payment tokens, NFTs, where you can literally get liquidity within a very short time period. So kind of if you're reflecting on venture investments where you locked in for 7 to 10 years, sometimes even longer actually. But in crypto, you know, if the team is fast, if things move quickly, basically, you know, you get your opportunity to get out of that investment opportunity, do an exit within 1 to 2 years, which is spectacular actually. Obviously, this liquidity comes with its own challenges. So during the bull run, you know, everything goes up because liquidity is coming in outside of the, you know, the scope of particular investments. But then if you kind of enter into the bear market period, like where we are now objectively, I mean, most of the tokens are down 99% pretty much because of liquidity actually, because the liquidity enables people to get out. Hence, you know, there's a lot of selling pressure. So I think liquidity is key criteria for investment.
Thank you. I'll jump to our last question for today, and then maybe we'll have 1 or 2 questions. What are you seeing trends in the space, especially knowing that you are on the chain side? There's a lot of things happening.
With regards to the trends, I believe the next big trend would be institutionalization. Like large institutions are coming into the space. Like BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, and other large financial institutions will be coming into the space and seeing what exactly could deliver the growth and mass adoption of the technology. So this will shift the entire landscape of crypto from being like Wild West in the past into the more regulated and utility-driven applications. It can be utilized in the, to sort out the supply chain industry, the financial industry, any industry where there are lots of intermediaries, when there are trust issues. So blockchain will be driven towards those applications. From the mass adoption other perspective, of course, is gamify is a long-term trend. So that might actually be another aspect of how the entry-level users will be entering and understanding what is the blockchain. And also AI. In my opinion, generative AI is a huge narrative that will be actually utilized in one way or another for actually spreading the new technologies into the real world.
AI and blockchain, I think this is going to be the next thing. So regulation, integration, innovation, user experience, institutions, investments, liquidity, and artificial intelligence is the key highlights, I would say, and security, of course, something we all keen on, are the key highlights. The key highlights of today's topic. I'd like to thank the panel for your valuable information on this. Please join me in a round of applause for the panel, and then we'll take questions. One question.
Hello everyone, my name is Varun, I'm from India, I'm the founder of Blockchain Lawyer, and I've got my co-founder here as well, 50% women in crypto, so good work there. I want to bring up this question. There was this mention by Hadir regarding RWA's real-world assets, and it was very well brought out by Anton explaining what RWAs are contributing and how they are contributing. Well, we work with the regulators across the world. The biggest question that we face generally is that protocols or RWA's platforms are actually taking away the sovereign rights that, let's say, a land registry department would have. That you decide and you fractionalize a certain real estate, and then the private players are now dictating the terms. So the question is that, what do you expect the regulators to do? Because it feels that the protocols do not know what they expect from the regulators, and the regulators are waiting for protocols to come up with the rules, right? So it's like it's like the other person, other side of the party, waiting for them to take action. So regulators are waiting for protocols to become more mature, and protocols are waiting for regulators to come up with rules. So what's your take on that? What is the ideal regulation that you're looking forward to? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned a perfect case with regards to real estate, and I just mentioned it because in Switzerland, for instance, if you're not Swiss citizen, you're not even allowed to buy real estate. You're not allowed to buy a flat or a home for your family if you're actually not a Swiss resident. So that's kind of how Switzerland specifically sees sovereign independence, actually. So I can tell you that will not, for instance, that will not change in Switzerland. So if you're tokenizing real estate in Switzerland and hoping to sell it around the world, I'll tell you immediately this will fail, actually. It will not work, actually. Now, I think you mentioned a very important point, is especially with regards to, because we mentioned US Treasuries a couple of times. Now, there is a crypto player that actually holds billions of dollars of US Treasuries. It's actually Tether and Circle. Okay, Circle is a US player, but Tether is not. And imagine Tether, if it was a country, would have more US Treasuries in its possession than the United Arab Emirates, actually. So this is the scale, actually. And to be honest, my dream personally is that that blockchain technology, the decentralization, enables the masses to participate. Because the hedge funds can buy those assets in either way. The asset managers, the BlackRocks, they can buy these assets. But we need to enable those opportunities to the masses. And to be honest, the only way I see that happening is if the regulations and laws are changed. And you're a lawyer, you know how difficult that is. So I leave this to you. This is not our job. This is really this to you.
I'd like to add on this very quickly. We are, I think, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, still early in this game. We are learning, you are learning, the regulator are learning. So everyone is a learning curve. We just have to do our best and then move on. And then take from the best of the examples. We understand that regulators sometimes don't get it right. That's where possibly sandboxing and other things so that we can work together, try to understand. And it's our role as a private sector with the government to try to pitch in and then help it out. Do we have one more question or not? Just let me see the organizers. Hello, quickly. Not any question. That's crypto granny question.
Yes, it is. Good morning. Another OG since 2017 in the scene. Thank you for the panel. It was very exciting and insightful. But I primarily maybe address the question to Cristina, but obviously anyone can. Most of the issues that you discussed during the panel, I think they are kind of there that we know and still headache for all of us. But I think we have a new one, which we have not been able to tackle as yet. The women have joined the party. The women with tech knowledge, very tech savvy, business owners, projects, companies, we are here in masses. The ones who don't recognize and remember us are the investors. So the feedback from the women is very strongly that the investors are not investing in women-driven projects or companies, especially within the emerging technology side. So any opinion or
how can I help?
How
yes,
do we tackle
how can
that?
we help this? It's true. Let's say if I'm an investor, what I will look for? I'm looking for innovative ideas. Everyone will say, right? Or I'm looking for projects that can bring solutions to blockchain problems. But unfortunately, such innovative ideas are not born every day. So what investors will do? They will just follow trends, market trends. And one of the market trends is to look what other venture capital firms are doing. And let's be honest, there are so many well-known venture capital firms that collectively will invest massive sums of money in, well, just pick a project, which category is in the market trend. And they will invest money even if it lacks innovative ideas. And then we see that many of these well-funded startups or projects fail to progress beyond their initial stage. So how we can stand apart? As an investor, I will just avoid investing in startups with big budgets. This is my choice because I don't want to be part of this trend if a project doesn't have an innovative idea. But regarding women, so how can we help women? The help mostly is coming from women to women. That's why I'm saying that we have to be present in various aspects of this industry, including politics, including regulations, including fundraising, startup creation. So how to help? I'm also working on this question. I think we have just to be more present in events, first of all, building our communities, collaborate with communities, participate with education. Any company has to encourage education, how to use your product if the user doesn't understand it. So the product also has to be very simple, explained and simple used. I don't know if this can help, but really I'm working on this.
Thank you, Cristina. Just want to, due to the time, we have to go down. I want to hear a men's perspective also on investment, not because it's a men's perspective, but what's happening in the investment world on the other side.
Yeah, so
you have 1 minute.
Yeah, so first of all, just to say, my experience working with women in startup has been amazing. So my first startup that I founded in 2013, we had more than 40% of women in a tech startup. You know that this is, very good. And also to tell you, like, my experience also having women in the management team is also amazing. So my best experience ever was when my CTO was a woman. I mean, she kicked those developers, you know, around, and they were all good and coding, and it was an amazing experience. Likewise, the CTO of OpenAI is a woman, actually. So the most famous company today in the world, OpenAI, the CTO is a woman. Now, if you're asking me from an investment perspective, I think it's all about the team, actually. Team of men and team of women, actually. So you bring the best what men bring, you take the best what women bring, and then you have magic happening. I think all of us have experience when it's just men doing something, it's boring, it's not fun. When it's just women doing something, it's boring, it's not fun. We need to bring these things together, and that's kind of my experience.
Thank you all, and this is it for us today. Thank you.